What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Scouting Combine here on the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Hussam Patel, and here's my co-host, Coach Smith. How we doing today, bud?
Hey, so I'm doing well. It was time for a break between the high school season and the NFL season. I was ready for a little bit of a break. Took some time off, and now I'm ready to get back into it. Looking forward to another NFL game this weekend.
We're ready to get back into it. And it's getting kind of chilly out here in Florida, especially here in Orlando and Miami. There's a little bit of a cold front. We're in the 50s and 60s right now. How's the weather up there in
uh,
Pennsylvania?
so we're dipping down into some 40s at night. Our daytimes, our highs are around the 55, 60 at most. Definitely hoodie weather up here for us right now.
Definitely, and the Dolphins will actually be traveling up north, up to Indianapolis as well to face Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts after their bye week. What do you think, where we're at in the Dolphins season? Is this where we expect it to be?
While certainly not if Tua had stayed healthy, this is not where we expected to be. Um, After the Tua injury, I think we're still in a window where we could get to where we expected to be. Hoping that Tua returns for the Arizona game, and if we could get back to that at 500, then I think that if you told fans that from the beginning, they'd have been pretty pleased with that result of being 500 with Tua coming back. So it's a big game this week for the how fans view the middle of the season.
Of course. Well, let's get right into it, and we'll go into a couple of plays, but apparently there's a little bit of a misconception that the Dolphins need to do one specific thing to win against the Indianapolis Colts. And what is that, Eric?
Well, I think they need to be able to run the ball. They need to be able to commit to it the same way that they did, especially at the end of the New England game. But they need to, show that commitment again throughout the game. I know that in McDaniel's press conference, he was talking about how early in the game when you saw some of those linemen getting in there and pushing the running back, getting those extra hard-earned yards early in the game, that's kind of what gave him the confidence to be able to commit to the run on that last drive and be confident in it. So that's something that I'd be looking forward, to see if the line does this week as well, that you're able to get those 2-3 yard runs early in the game, and then you get the extra guys in there pushing that pile that turns it into a 4, 5, 6 yard gain early in the game, and those are the ones that end up turning into backbreakers later in the game.
All right, we'll go ahead get into some plays, but firstly, we're gonna go and dive deep into this Colts defense and how they actually fit the run. And we'll go ahead and Eric, go ahead and take it away for us.
Yeah, so I think this one, I think if I remember correctly, is going to be an inside zone to the left. This was actually one that I wasn't. It was kind of on the edge of whether it's inside or outside zone, and you can kind of make that determination based on where the running back is going to here. But one of the things I noticed with the Colts defense that you're going to see with this play is that particularly number 44, but their linebackers in general, they just kind of, you know, they do a decent job of stepping up in the lanes, but they're not the best at taking on the blocks and really filling the lanes. So I think that's going to be a big key to being able to run inside, is that getting those first level blocks and then being able to slide off onto those linebackers, because I think if we can get those linemen onto the linebackers, it's going to create some lanes for our backs that have good vision and are able to read those blocks. As you can
Right,
see
like that
here,
block right there. That's a pretty nice cutback lane for the running back right there. I think that's Cordell Patterson, if I'm not mistaken.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, Patterson's the running back on this play.
yeah. You got a big cutback lane right there, and if you have that big of a cutback lane with a guy like Devon A. Chain, if he is back from concussion this week, Raheem Mostert, or even Jalen, right? They're gonna take that one cut and just burst straight on through right here with that speed and gain a little bit more than what Cordell Patterson actually gained right there. Here we go. Here's the very next play up against the Jaguars, and the Dolphins actually ran the ball well against the Jaguars, and we can see here that the Jags Offensive line with Tanks Bigsby, and again, you have number 44 Zaire Franklin and number 45. You're going to see how they're basically going to step up into this line play. Go ahead and run the play.
And
They're
one thing that if you
communicating.
um, watching the Jaguars try to run zone was kind of eye opening for me in the sense that as good of a back as Tank Bigsby is, like his vision is not where our backs are. So there were opportunities in that game that were missed um, just because of the lack of vision. On this particular play, you can see Jacksonville having one of the big issues that we have as well, and that's with the tight ends being able to block. And that's
Yep.
actually from the
Here.
backside to number 89. Like this play is blocked up fairly decent on the front side there. You're getting, the combination block between the right guard and the right tackle there, sliding off on that linebacker that's running off the edge. And then you got your center and your left guard on the combo block as well. Or, I'm sorry, your left guard and left tackle there. Um, but the tight end on the left side of that is not able to seal that defensive end, and that's what blows up the play. So that's another thing that when we look at Miami trying to run the ball and run inside zone on Sunday, our tight ends are going to need to step it up a little more than what they have and be able to cut off that backside pursuit.
We're talking about you, Julian Hill and Durham Smythe. We're talking about you, Julian Hill and Durham Smythe. All right, we'll go up to the next play again, up against the Jaguars. Man to man right here. Linebackers trying to look at the flow, stepping up right here. You can see the right guard number 68 trying to take on the block right here of number 45. And you talk
So
about
this
the
is one of those
vision.
places. Yep,
Yeah,
right there. Like there was no reason to stop and jump cut there. Like he was on path there, and if he just hits that vertical, then those linebackers don't. It's still, maybe they still get in there and get an arm on him, but it's only an arm instead of being able to get a full body on there. But
yeah.
that's the type of thing that you know some of our fans really need to learn to appreciate how good our backs are at reading that and being able to hit that at full speed. And then you're, one on one with that safety back there, potentially, if you can hit that at full speed and not dance a little bit like he did.
Go ahead. Up against the Titans. Did you watch this full Titans game, Eric?
I watched a good bit of this one. In terms of looking for these plays, I just ran through the run plays for the most part. But I did watch a good bit of that last week, just in my casual watching.
Okay. Go ahead and run the play right here.
And the Titans did try to run a lot of zone versus Indianapolis, but it was more outside zone than it was inside zone.
Motion. You got a hole right there. A hole is opening up right here. Straight up the gut, straight through the middle. Cuts back.
And that
Good
again is
success.
another example. You have Franklin there, number 44, that's stepping up into that hole, and he doesn't do a great job of squaring up and taking on that lineman in the hole.
Yep.
He's to the side there, he gets sealed, and then the back makes a good cut off of Latham's block on the left side there. But that running the ball inside on them, I think I get a little bit of movement on the front, but I think the big key is being able to get off onto those linebackers and knock them off path.
All right, next play right here. Looking at most of these runs, it's coming from shotgun formation. We know the Dolphins really like to run the ball from 21 personnel, sometimes even 12 personnel as well. So, do you think that the Dolphins primarily need to run out of shotgun instead
I
of five
don't
formation or single back?
No, I think that you can do it from both. I mean, and you can incorporate a fullback into this as well. I mean, you look here, they have a wing type player, which could be an Ingold, where you're still in a, we'll add a tight end here also. But you can run the zone out of 21 personnel, even out of the shotgun formation, whether Ingold is on the other side of the quarterback or whether he's lined up more as what we view as a traditional H-back type of player. So I don't think that there is a big need to be shotgun or under center. I think that just comes down to what they like to do off of that. Some of the stuff that we'll talk about later in terms of the passing game, but the way that the play action off of that can open stuff up. I think that's a bigger factor than the defense.
All right. We'll go ahead and run this play.
And this is
Inside
obviously a
zone.
very I don't know if it was end of the half or what. It's very, very light box. Linebackers are playing really deep here. Um, but you're getting inside zone to the right here, and the left guard, does not do a great job here. He gives up some penetration that's supposed to be a split zone type of look, where the H back type player that we were talking about is supposed to come across the formation and get to the defensive end to the right side as we're looking at it here. I think he eventually gets there, but you'll see as the play develops that he gets bumped by the guard because of the penetration given up there.
Yep.
Actually, he doesn't get there. The running back just does a good job of hugging that block and being able to get through there.
All right. Next play.
So got a little heavier box here.
Mm-hmm. And the Dolphins, do you suspect that the Dolphins are going to see a lot of heavy boxes? Are they going to is the Colts defense basically gonna put out and make sure that they stop the run so that way they're in obvious passing situations and make Tyler Huntley spray the ball all over the field?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would expect. The same way that me and you and a lot of our fan base is saying that they are hoping that Miami is going to commit to the run against the Colts the way that they did against the Patriots. The Colts are looking at that the same way and saying that, if the Dolphins can establish the run the way they did against the Patriots, then that could be a long day for them. So I would think that they're going to come in, bring in these heavier boxes and try to force Tyler Huntley to beat them as opposed to sitting back and letting Miami's run game dictate the flow of the game.
All right, we'll run this last play against the Colts defense, and we'll take a look at some of the inside runs in between the tackles and the guards for the Dolphins to see how they may fare and how they like to run their inside running plays.
Yeah, so
All
another
right, looks like
split
you have the
zone
tight
type
end
look
coming
there.
across to seal right here to seal the defensive end.
Yep, and you can see that the inside zone, he's reading that defensive tackle on the right side. His leverage is immediately to the right as we're looking at it here. So he's
Mm-hmm.
already looking to bang it up through the middle, and then he's reading that second double team there, reading
Yep.
that leverage, right? And that's
And
where
he
his
makes
cutback is coming. And that guard's a little late. Well, it doesn't really get off there. That guard should be able to slide off to that linebacker and have him accounted for, but he
right
gets
here.
yep, he gets a little buried too far on the
And
left
that's Peter
side there.
Skoronsky, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And that, this was a situation where I believe that they had one extra in the box. And sometimes you have that, and sometimes you've got to be able to run, and your running back still has to be able to, make a play, and that's what we get here. I mean, this is one of those that's not a big play, but when you're talking about a play where the defense has one extra in the box and you're trying to run the ball and you're still able to get 4 or 5 yards on the play, that's a huge win, and the way that you stay ahead of the chains when you're trying to run the ball.
all right. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at some of these inside runs that the Dolphins run with most of their running backs. We'll go ahead. This is 14 yards from Jeff Wilson on 2nd and 9 in the fourth quarter. Here we go. It looks like at first they run a single back look, but they're in I formation. They're going to be pounding the rock. They're declaring and they're saying, hey, we're going to run the dang ball right here, and you guys got to stop us. I mean, it's a pretty heavy box right here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people in the box right here. You're declaring you're going to run. I'll go ahead and slow up the speed as well so we can take a look at it.
Yep. So we're getting a little bit of like counter or long trap action with a lead there.
Mhm.
You can see that the guard is initially going to kick out that end, and that they swap it there. Ingold going towards that end kind of holds him, but then Ingold's going to slide up to that outside linebacker. Everything else is getting washed down, and then we get the guard kicking out. Um,
Yep, we
Kicking out
have
the end.
Rob Jones basically kicking out over here in a type of counter right there, trying to get the hole. Oof, great block right there.
Yep, and those are
Great
just some
block
good
right
down
there from
blocks to the
Austin
right side.
Jackson. I feel like Austin Jackson had a fantastic block from number 23. He was looking to close in on Jeff Wilson, and Austin Jackson just whams him straight through to gain those yards.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of those places that Austin Jackson excels when we talk about, the things that he struggles with. He obviously struggles in one-on-one pass scenarios, but when we talk about those down blocks where he can really get moving, he does that as well as anybody in the league.
All right, here we go. In pistol formation right here. What does the box look like? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 in the box. Alec Ingold on the wing. Motions. He takes on this defensive end. You have a lane right here where Devon Achane can go straight through.
Yep, so that's a very, that this is one of those times that, McDaniel does a good job of using different formations to get to the same type of play. So this play was very similar to that last one we looked at, where, they're swapping some responsibilities here. But Ingold is just sealing that end outside, still a power type run with Rob Jones coming around and leading up through again.
There it is.
And again, great job by Austin Jackson on this play of watching that guy all the way across the
Oof,
formation.
wow. He's right here, and in less than 1.5 seconds, he ends up right here.
Yeah, nice jobs by Liam Eichenberg and Julian Hill getting those seal blocks to second level. Those blocks that we need to get up to the linebackers on that I was talking about with the Colts. I think if we can get to those linebackers, that there's definitely some big plays to be had versus the Colts as well.
All right, second and short running the ball. The Dolphins late last year and early on this year have struggled, but this is actually a successful play right here. We have Skylar Thompson quarterbacking right here. In the pistol, Alec Ingold once again, same motion. He's going to try and take up this edge rusher and then move his way up to the second level blocker. I believe that might be Tyrell Dodson, if I'm not wrong, number 53.
Yeah, so
Right
this
there.
is what we call counter solid. It's a counter play, but we're not getting a guard pulling or a tight end pulling. Instead, the line is all basically big on big, and then we're bringing the fullback and the tight end through as the lead blockers on the counter play.
They're just moving up, basically.
Yep.
That's all it is. We'll go ahead. Run the play. One more time. Stop.
Yep. They're basically identifying that, where the lane's going to be. You've got, Jackson stepping out like that's going to hold that end a little bit. You can see him reaching out, which makes that block even easier for Ingold. And then everybody else just doing a good job of washing stuff down. Durham Smythe helps to clean stuff up as he climbs to the next level. Just a nice
Yeah, and
little play
Alton
there.
is just following his guys right there. All right, up against Tennessee, you have Jalen Wright in the backfield with Tyler Huntley as a quarterback in this game. Fourth quarter, they're running the ball. It's a very light box. You think they're going to be passing right here. Motion Hill. Straight through.
Yep. So I think that was just some more split zone type look, even though Ingold was in the backfield there. You can see that, the linemen, I think, are all stepping, or I guess that's Smythe in the backfield there. But the line's all stepping to the left, and then you're going to have Smythe coming across to the right side to kick out that defensive end. And then again, right there's Austin Jackson washing him down. And as far, Austin Jackson washing him down that far, that's, Devondre Sweat, which is a big dude to be moving like that. But that block of washing him down is what lets Jalen Wright get to that next level.
So, the Dolphins' run game up against this Colts defense and defensive line. Does it bode well for them?
It should. I mean, it doesn't. The Colts have not been great against the run, and while the Dolphins haven't posted huge numbers, more recently when they've shown the willingness to commit to it, they've had some really good results out of it. So, it certainly seems like if Mike McDaniel's willing to commit to the run game, that should be a good recipe for success against the Colts this week.
All right. We're going to go ahead and talk about some pass plays, specifically with Tyler Huntley, and see how they're going to basically match up and mirror this run game with the passing game up against these Colts linebackers who, as Eric said, and you could see on the film review, kind of get stood up by the offensive linemen when they're trying to get into the motion, trying to get into the rush. And it's going to leave space in the middle of the field for the intermediate routes like the dig routes, the cross routes, that Mike McDaniel really likes to call up, for his wide receivers in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this very first play. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Here we go. All right. It's basically a play action pass, 20 yards to Jalen Waddle right here. I don't think the quality is that good, but are you guys able to see it? Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Pistol formation look as well. People in the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people in the box. They may run out of this. Nope. It's a pass play. Raheem Mostert basically motions out. I believe that's called a haul motion, correct, Eric?
I think the haul is usually a pre-snap motion. With that being at the snap of the ball, I'm not sure what term they would use for that, but I don't think it's haul.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
He just motions out. It's going to act like a little bit of a bubble screen. You have this defensive back. He's seeing he may throw to Raheem Mostert. Let me cover that. Let me cover the flat area right here. You hesitate. You have 1, 2, 3 linebackers right here in the middle of the field. You have Jonnu right here up the seams. He's going to be standing there as a safety valve. Look at that protection. Look at that protection for Tyler Huntley to throw it. And where is the intermediate space? Right here. Steps up, fires it, boom. It's kind of a bit of a late read from Tyler Huntley right there. Could have shot it right there to Jalen Waddle. He didn't necessarily have to step up in the pocket, but there was pressure coming up from him. And if we can see right here, if he stands his ground and holds it and throws it, it's potentially a catch. Nevertheless, 20-yard play right there.
Yeah, I think that was it was a good read by him in the sense that, using his feet in that manner makes the defense respect him. They're playing with a too high safety shell there.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was stuff that was probably there earlier that, if Tua was in there, Tua probably would have fired that, much earlier. But Huntley wasn't comfortable with that. And, but him stepping up brought those linebackers up and created that void between the linebackers stepping up and those 2 deep safeties. And he was able to find Waddle.
All right, this was an 18-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. They are not in shotgun. They are in I formation. Could be a run. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the box. Heavy set right here, and it's going to be a play action pass. And what does the play action pass open up again, Eric? And the chat? The middle of the field.
Yeah.
The middle of the field, which the Dolphins love to get to. They motion Julian Hill. They're thinking it's going to be a run. Nope. Fake tossed.
Yep.
Holds the linebackers. This space is wide open. On the dig, Boom.
And this is just the type of play that, this is
You're at midfield
lit,
already.
like, and you're looking at a ball that is inches away from being a 6 point throw right here. If Huntley is able to put that a little further out in front of Hill, where he's, running away
Right
from that.
here.
Yep,
Yep.
where he's running away from that defender behind him, and all he's got to do is beat that safety. Like,
Yep.
I'll take my money with Tyreek Hill on that. But so those are the type of plays that, even though we haven't had the big explosive plays, when you look at how close a play like that is, you can see why they like Huntley, and why hopefully having this time in the bye week will continue to develop that chemistry and his confidence in where he needs to put that ball to make that an even bigger play.
All right, last play right here. This was up against the Tennessee Titans. They're in pistol formation. Tyreek Hill motioning. It's a fake. You're seeing the run action. Linebackers are coming down. Nope. Hold it. Look at that time to throw. Boom. Midfield already. You're at midfield. You have potentially guaranteed 3 points if Jason Sanders actually wants to make the kick right then and there.
Yep. And that was, your play action there was your outside zone. And that's what McDaniel wants to get to more than what they have been able to. And you can just see the way that stretches those linebackers to the outside. That slot defender, that linebacker to that side, they
No
are,
option.
yep, they're hauling ass to the outside, trying to get that outside zone. And that's why, McDaniel favors outside zone over inside zone, even though right now for the Dolphins, inside zone is better. But I think that in a perfect world, we would see a lot more outside zone in Miami.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some more pass plays, but this is more so of the Colts defense up against the Green Bay Packers offense, which is a little bit similar to the Dolphins, but they don't do a whole lot of motions with their wide receivers and tight ends and with their fullbacks as well. And it's a different type of offensive scheme where they're more so looking for vertical shots rather than intermediate because of the type of wide receivers that they have. They have a different mix of wide receivers. So go ahead and share this real quick. All right, we're able to see this play. It was an incomplete deep pass to Dontavian Wicks. We're not looking for a successful or a completion on this play. We're looking to see what this defense does or how this Colts defense reacts. All right, looks like Jaden Reed is motioning. It looks to be a boomerang motion from the backfield. He can be a screen outlet right there. Willis is going to fake it. Still decent, clean enough pocket for him to make the throw. Pass was incomplete right there. We're going to take a look at the linebacker flow action right here with Zaire Franklin, number 44 and number 45. All right. They're basically held. And if you have a guy like a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Waddle coming on this crosser right here with this amount of space, Tyler Huntley's got to throw that ball, right, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see that, it wasn't even a great fake, but you basically seal them to one half of the field, and you're taking 2-3 defenders from the middle of the field, and you're putting them over onto the left side of the field, and creating windows you can hit on the right side.
All right. Again, the Packers are in shotgun as well. It was a short middle pass to Romeo Doubs for 15 yards. I don't think if Mike McDaniel is going to stay committed to the run, I don't think he's going to utilize a lot of shotgun run plays. What's your take on that?
Well, I think you still can. I mean, I think that, especially considering, if Miami had more tight ends and, the guys that could block the outside zone more, I think that's where we would see more under center stuff with the outside zone and the play action where the quarterback is, kind of going at a 45-degree angle and booting out of that. We see that a lot with Brock Purdy in San Francisco. But when you're running more inside zone stuff, you can still get, a lot of good stuff out of shotgun in the run game.
All right. It looks like a fake play action inside zone to Josh Jacobs. Number 45 reads this. He's going to try to hit this hole. 44 as well, Zaire Franklin. They're going to try and hit this hole. But you see the tight end right here. I think that might be Luke Musgrave. He's going to block this defensive end so that way Malik Willis has a decent enough pocket to get this out. But instead, he's an outlet pass right there. And what happens with when Josh Jacobs is running into this interior to the left side of the line, it holds the linebackers right here and clears off the space for this pass to be thrown to Romeo Doubs.
Man, I'd really like to see him throw that. Oh, it was Doubs. I was thinking he threw it shorter. I mean, that's the right read there. I mean, that's exactly what you want to happen. That's inside zone left with some split flow action. And, we're getting the wide receiver just kind of sitting down in the void that was left by the linebackers. That's exactly what I would hope that we can see from Miami on Sunday.
Yep. This is the end zone view right here. We're going to see how the linebackers get held. And these linebackers aren't so heavy, and they're kind of light as well. So up against, heavy guys like Austin Jackson, Teron Armstead, Alec Ingold, and even Liam Eichenberg blocking, they should be able to successfully execute those blocks. And honestly, the tight end should be able to execute these blocks as well, Eric. They should not have any excuse for, having missed executions over and over again, specifically in the run game itself, so that way they can get into these passing play action situations.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm still not confident in our tight ends' ability to handle defensive ends one-on-one, but if they can, create some leverage situations where, they're either comboing with a tackle up to a linebacker or they're just able to climb to a linebacker, then those should be favorable matchups in this game with both Julian Hill and Durham Smythe getting to these linebackers.
Yep. Final thoughts on this. If we take a look at this Colts run defense, they're basically ranked one spot less than this Dolphins defense in terms of EPA per rush. The Dolphins are a little bit better by 0.008. And we know the Dolphins have given up maybe 2 or 3 big gashes a game, and they've held up. That's the same story with the Indianapolis Colts. So is it going to be death by paper cuts for this Colts defense? And is Mike McDaniel, is he going to stick to this run game overall?
I mean, I think that's the recipe for success. Like you said, in terms of the production from the defense in with their rushing limitations, I guess you would say, not production because they're not running it on the defensive side. But they are similar between the two teams. So I think it's going to be a close game no matter what. I think that the difference in the game, in my opinion, is going to be, Tyler Huntley versus Anthony Richardson. Tyler Huntley has done some good stuff. He's done a pretty good job protecting the ball. If he continues to do that, if he hits some of those deep shots that are, there's been a couple of plays that, Tyreek Hill has been open and Huntley just hasn't been able to connect on. I'm not talking about, a closely guarded deep throw, but if a defense is going to give us a deep shot where Hill has 5-10 yards, we have to be able to hit those. And then on the flip side of it, with Richardson, he's obviously a mobile quarterback that has been an issue for the Dolphins in the past, but he's also a young quarterback. And the Dolphins have a lot of good players on the defensive side of the ball. If they can, disguise some coverages and force him into some either holding the ball to take some sacks, possibly some strip sack type situations,
and limit him running the ball as well. Limit him from escaping the pocket, because Anthony Richardson can definitely do some damage with his legs. And Eric Whitkey from Pulse of Fins Nation, and who's also a Dolphins 5 Reasons contributor, and I believe you were on the show with Pulse of Fins Nation. He mentioned it. He's like a baby Josh Allen. If nothing's going to be there early on, if he can't make the throw, he's going to tuck the ball and run. And that's where you can potentially, like guys like David Long Jr., if he's back, along with, oh my God, I'm blanking on the line. Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks can tackle, Anthony Richardson well. I mean, Anthony Richardson's a big guy. He's 6'5", 240, 250 pounds. If they can tackle and get some strip sacks and, potentially get the ball loose, uh, they could potentially have a chance in winning this game. And I do think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be more so along like a 20-16 type of game, or a 16-14 type of game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game where whichever defense can make the game-changing plays, I think that's going to be where the difference is.
All right. As always, y'all, thank you guys so much for sticking around on the Scouting Combine. Stick with us here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Make sure you guys subscribe to the OnlyFins Discord in the link below. As always, y'all, go Fins.